What's going on, everybody? Today I'm making my simple and easy Dungeness crab cakes recipe. Crab cakes are a labor of love, especially deshelling all the crab to make crab cakes, but it's all worth it because they are just delicious and fantastic. So here's my Dungeness crab cake recipe. For the prep, you'll start with mincing the 2 green onions and the quarter of a red bell pepper. Now make sure when you mince that you get them in nice small pieces and not those big chunks. Next, you'll get the lemon peel off the outside of the lemon. Again, you only need about a quarter of a teaspoon of the lemon peel. Next, you'll add all the ingredients into a large bowl. So the first thing you'll do is add your 1/3 cup of mayonnaise into the bowl. Next, you'll beat your egg lightly and then add that into the large bowl. And then next, you'll add in your 1/4 teaspoon of the lemon peel. Nice and fresh lemon. It'll go really nicely with the recipe. Next, you'll add your Worcestershire sauce. Again, 2 teaspoons. Make sure you shake it up nice and good and add that in to the bowl mixture. Next, you'll add some red hot sauce. Doesn't matter on the brand if you have a preference, but 1/4 of a teaspoon on red hot sauce. Next, you'll add your Dijon mustard. Again, 2 tablespoons of the mustard. You can just kind of squeeze it into the measuring spoon and add it to the bowl. And then next, you'll add your Old Bay seasoning. Then you'll add your red bell peppers that you've minced up. And then next, you'll add your minced green onions that you minced up at the beginning of the prep process. Next, you'll add in your breadcrumbs, 3/4 of a cup to the mixture. And then you'll add in your fresh Dungeness crab. Some of the best food out there, Dungeness crab. Oh my goodness, my mouth is just watering with excitement for this recipe. So once you add the crab into the mixture, then start mixing up everything in the bowl nice and good. If you got big chunks of crab, crunch those up, make them a little bit smaller, and then just start mixing everything up nice and good. About a minute or two, not too much, but just make sure the mixture is well balanced and that all of the seasoning and all of the mustard and everything is mixed into all parts of all the meat in the bowl. And then next, you'll take some clear plastic wrap and go over the top of the bowl, and then you'll put the bowl of crab mixture in the fridge for about an hour. Let everything bind together before you actually cook. So we put the plastic wrap on and we'll put it right into the fridge. Now while your crab's sitting in the fridge, then you can make your aioli sauce to go with your crab cakes. My recipe has 2/3 cup of mayo, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of chopped chives, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Mix that up in your bowl with all the ingredients and then put that in the fridge, and you can make this while your crab cakes are waiting for an hour in the fridge. So it's a great in between before you cook the crab cakes to make your sauce to go with the crab cakes. So once it's been about an hour and you take the crab cakes out, you can grab a ice cream scoop or a spoon and start scooping out spoonfuls of the crab mixture onto a tray. And that way you can form your crab cakes prior to putting them into the cast iron pot for cooking. But what you want to do here is just make sure you get kind of more even crab cakes, and also that you can form them in the right kind of patty shape, as well as just understanding how thick or how wide that your crab cakes are. So depending on how the shape and how you form them will influence how long it'll take to cook both sides of the crab cake. So for me, I'm kind of putting them at about a 1/2 inch thickness, couple inches wide in diameter, not too thick. A few of them I had a little bit thicker than others, but again, play around with the different thickness and sizes. You don't want them too thin and too spread out because they'll be harder to flip, but you want them a little bit more compact when you put them into the fryer, so they're easier to flip, and then B, they'll hold together once you flip them over for cooking them on the second side once you put them into the cast iron pan. So then cooking the crab cakes, so I've got a cast iron heating up over the stove with a little bit of canola oil in the bottom, and then I'm going to drag a little piece of the crab mixture, a big piece of crab, into the oil to see if it's hot enough to start putting the crab cakes in. So once it starts to sizzle pretty good, that's when you know that the heat and the oil is ready to go for your crab cakes. So put your crab cakes in on the first side. Again, you'll hear that sizzle and you know that the oil's ready to go. 2 to 3 minutes on each side, and again, it depends on the heat of the pan and the oil, as well as the thickness and size of your crab cakes. So put them in. You want to just kind of keep an eye on them. You don't want to like flip them up and keep a look at them. You only want to flip them once after they're in the cast iron pan. And then be really careful about the splattering of the oil out as well. So, and some people may have a screen that they can put over the cast iron to keep the oil from splattering out. And so typically when I make the crab cakes, I put the screen over the top to keep the oil from splashing everywhere on top of the stove top. So after about 2 to 3 minutes, I start flipping them over. Again, you want that nice golden brown on each side. Now, depending on how much you want to cook them, how much brown you want on them, that's up to you. I usually go typically 2 to 3 minutes. My first batch sometimes can be a little bit lighter. My secondary batches can be a little bit darker. But again, depends on the size of your crab cakes and how hot your pan and your oil is. So, personal preference, I would say, depend on how hot and how crispy and brown you want each side of the crab cakes. But again, flip them over. 2 to 3 minutes on each side should do it, and then you should be able to take them off and serve them up. So there you have it. Here's my crab cakes and aioli sauce ready to go with some of my favorite beers to pair with them. Crab cakes is just Dungeness crab cakes in particular are just super special. They're super tasty, and especially when you are catching the Dungeness crab that you are sharing with others or having for dinner. It's just simply amazing. Crab cakes are just super delicious, and it's really fun when you can catch the crab, clean it as well as eat it. It's just one of those things where the food tastes better. Something that I've learned from watching other cooks on TV. Something that Anthony Bourdain always talks about is when you can catch, clean, eat, and share your food, it's just something that always just tastes better. And so today I made some crab cakes for my friends, and they're just super delicious. So bon appetit, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching my crab cake recipes video. As always, hit that like button, share with your friends, leave a comment below, and as always, the outdoors is a gift. Share it with others.